Welcome back to another devlog. And today I'm going to be reporting in what happened at the start of the month for February. Actually, my goal for this month is to focus on the sales and marketing. I'm smiling now because I haven't been focusing on the sales and marketing, and despite the fact that the product is pretty much ready, but it's not really ready yet. It's like some part of me, I still want to add more features on it. I still want to keep working on the current features. Like there's still plenty of things to improve on it, and I'm kind of getting into that habit. I'm kind of falling back into that bad habit that I've made a mistake on last couple with my previous project, where you just focus continuously on the technical side and forgetting about the entrepreneur side or the business side of things. And so, but I think I'm getting closer. Like this week though, I started finalizing the payment stuff. I started finalizing the how to handle with missing payments for users who don't have enough credits on their accounts. Like how do we deal with those numbers? How do we deal with when it's like how do we deal with users that have no credit balances, and how do we then deal with prepaid memberships? Are we then like there's just so many things that needs to be worked on, because I've kind of gotten myself into a situation where I have to build the membership from scratch, and therefore all of the necessary aspects that go into it. So let's say, for example, where if a user doesn't pay, what happens? If they do, what happens if they don't pay? What should they be doing? What should they do if their account is on a grace period? That's also another thing that I added. What kind of sequence of emails they should get? What should be the expiry? Like what should be the grace period timeline would be? Like what does that look like? What kind of emails should we be sending? I'm clearly overthinking this side of things, but I also think that it's important to finish the rest of the loop of the application. So the loop looks something like you onboard on the app, you buy, and then you continue using it. And then if you're not happy with it, then you can just release the number. Or if you want to continue using it, then you're gonna have to make sure that you can top off your credit balance, that's also the other thing that I added. It's like you add on top of the credit balance that you have. So if you don't have any more credits, and then let's say if then the user then doesn't pay, we then prompt them to the credit balance, to add on top of their credit balance. If they don't, then we have to deal with that by eventually having to release the number. So I've said it before, like the number does cost money to procure. Like I'm using Twilio, and the number essentially is around $2 for each. So the previous membership that I was using is a prepaid version, so the user gets a fixed model of credits, and there's an expiry date for that number. What I decided to do is actually get rid of the expiry date, and essentially, instead of me paying for the number, the use would then take that into account on top of their usage. So that would be added on their monthly. So that I call that a monthly servicing fee, so that every month it would be like a $2 off from their credit balance. Because I think that's what Twilio does anyway. It's like that would make more sense instead of outright canceling their prepaid membership. I thought it would have made more sense if they could keep their phone numbers as long as possible, and without interrupting their usage. So that's how I thought about that, because it also didn't make sense. I think for $6, you wanted $6 to go as far as you can. So instead of us just setting a deadline for a number, I thought it just made sense that from the business point of view, that the profit can be found on every time that they use the app, every time that they use the services, as opposed to other way around if they don't use it. Yeah, so I've also been working on different features. It's like this week, like I said, I've been talking about the open loop. So right now I have both the manual screening and the automated screening. With the automated screening, that's when you use a call assistant. What I started doing is I've also added a way to link the the current call that the caller is in with the AI, where you can then transfer that, where you can then where you can perform a warm transfer from the agent back to your phone number, that kind of thing. So I've been experimenting with how to perform this a sequence of events, because to me, like once I figure out how to close this loop from going to the AI assistant and then transferring it back to your phone number, it essentially just completes the whole thing. It completes the whole system. It's like now from that point, you have a full-fledged answering machine, kind of like where you can like screen the actual person, talk to them, and then maybe perhaps decline afterwards. So that's why I've been working on that for this week, and which derailed my plans for the marketing stuff. And yeah, now it's Friday, so I've yeah. So throughout the whole week, I've been working on the web client. I've been working on the iOS client. Just make sure that I plug all of the API endpoints there, and ensuring that the data coming from the call assistant provider has now been installed on each of the clients. And I've been working on the payment stuff, just making sure that's well finalized now. The addition of the credit add-ons on top of things. I've also started setting up cron jobs for dealing with monthly servicing fee for the numbers. I think I made a mistake on how cron jobs work. I didn't really know how it worked. And at one point while I was testing it, my account went into negative. As I was testing it, my credit balance went to negative. But the thing is, the system did not revoke my usage of the number. And that's what it's supposed to do. It's like it's supposed to monitor your credit balance, and then it should then, once it reaches down to 0 or negative, it won't, it's like as you speak to somebody, it's like it's not gonna cut off immediately, but it just won't let you start another call, or it won't let you then receive another call to somebody, because then your account, from that point, the account is revoked from accessing. That means that you have to then add on top of your credit balance and then make sure that's all resolved. Yeah. I'm trying to do my best to make sure that the whole system is self-sustaining. I mean, I think that's really the whole point of building this application. Is like I just want to make sure that when I'm releasing the beta launch, I want to get the onboarding as smooth as possible. And so speaking about onboarding on the application, on the iOS stuff, that's for context, that's where you set up your call assistant, and for context, again, like you have to select a type of assistant that you'd like to use. And currently, what I previously had is only one version of the template for this assistant, but this assistant requires that you include a calendar API key, or which then gives the AI access to setting up schedules or checking your schedules on your calendar. And so I thought for new users, that's gonna add more difficulty in signing on people and just setting up and then onboarding new users in. So I started thinking about this, like, why don't I just create a basic version of the call assistant that can just essentially just do practically the same thing, but without the access of the user's calendar. Because I think that would literally just streamline the whole process, and then having no worries whatsoever. Yeah. It's like currently, like, this is not designed for, like, this app is not designed for multiple agents and even multiple numbers, but it's still gonna work with multiple devices. That's one of the things I addressed. It's like you can actually buy multiple numbers, but it's just like I'm not gonna be able to like I think the system is not well designed it for you. The system is not well designed for that kind of thing yet. So I know that this might be like overthinking it, because that's also what I was thinking. Like that's really what I was thinking. Like this week alone, it's like I'm supposed to be launching it. Like I'm literally supposed to be launching it. Like but I gotta do this. I gotta add more stuff. Like I gotta add more. I gotta improve this feature. It's like it's not enough, and but I promise next week it's gonna be different though. Yeah, it's like yeah, like I guess part of me is like I want to build a great product, right? In the end, I do want to build a great product. Oh yeah, just on top of my head right now, it's like one of the features that I have on the app can be illegal if I don't disclose it, and that is the live listening feature. So what I decided to do is to fully disclose to the caller is that, you know, I guess I don't know, it sort of just loses the whole point of having a call assistant, because now that you disclose it, it kind of becomes icky to then speak to the AI. But yeah, but anyways, like the disclosure is really essentially like you have to, because I'm enabling the user to listen in directly on the call or even record the entire conversation with the AI, with the caller as well, with the AI and the caller. Like it's like you have to be disclosing that. yeah. So I just learned that recently, and I thought that would be a good thing to share, because I've seen like apps on Twitter like they don't even disclose it. Like I have to specifically say that I am somebody else's assistant, and they might be listening into this call as we chat or something like that, something along those lines. I literally included that line just to make sure that we're cleared with any regulatory issues. It's like I just want to make sure that this person doesn't feel uncomfortable when this, or at least this caller doesn't feel uncomfortable speaking to us as we transfer the call afterwards. Yeah. So like going back to the call transfer from your going back from like the call transfer from the caller agent and the call agent, how do I like from live listening feature to then transferring the call directly back to you, which is the AI and the caller, and then back to you. Like the thing is, it's kind of that this process is actually very difficult to do, because with the provider that I'm using, it's like they require that you to perform a proper warm transfer with the current AI provided to perform a proper warm transfer with the current AI that I'm using, is that you have to create a number on the provider itself. Like you have to attach the AI directly on a number. And right now, like I could do that. I could easily do that, but I don't want to do that, because if you think about it, I'm getting the user to buy a number to access all the features, and then now it's asking me to buy another number on top of that so that I can facilitate the warm transfer. And to me, I think that is just problematic at that point. I don't think the warm transfer has to be this complicated, because yesterday I literally spent the whole day trying a bunch of different things, trying out how to create a new call, like trying out the function calling, like where the agent would then trigger a function call from our server, and then triggering a new call between the caller and us as well. Like that did not work if you're listening directly on the conversation between your assistant and the caller. That doesn't work. So I gotta like think of another way of properly transferring the call from your assistant to you back to your phone number. And honestly, right now I don't know yet. Like that's one of the solutions I'm guessing, like to buy a second number and then perform an actual warm transfer to back to your phone. It's like I could do that, or or I could do something else where you could essentially, it's like while you're in the same room with the caller and your call assistant, like I thought about, why don't you just put the caller on hold so that you can then speak directly to the AI kind of thing. Like that's also what I was thinking, but I don't know. But that this week is all geared towards, you know, I've been spending the whole time of this week just looking for solutions just to get this whole feature to work. Because like I said, it completes the whole cycle. It completes the whole loop from, you know, transferring to your AI, and then your AI then goes back to your phones. Like that's really what I've been working towards. And I think that's the missing link. I think that's the missing piece that I just need to complete the whole thing. And yeah, so right, I guess that's really it. That's really it for this week. It's like that's all I've been working on. Books I've been reading is The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. That's also a good read. But I don't have anything to say yet. Yeah. So in terms of marketing, I think I'm gonna be starting it. I'm definitely gonna be starting next week, but I'm gonna start earlier now. And the thing with marketing, because he gave you a good list of, it's like with the thing with marketing, I'm just reviewing what I need. So I need a place to capture the leads. So that's your landing page, your waiting list, and then getting traffic to that lead capture system, and then building an email sequencing system. So that's my goal for this month, at least. Like that's the minimum I can do for this month, at least for this week. It's just for this, no, not for this month, for this week. Build out the lead capture system, which I have already, the landing page, the wait list, and then using social media to then drag onto that, to drag all the traffic to this capture system, and then building out I think he gave you like a list of how to play the same level playing field with more established startups out there, and he gave you a good list. I might be able to share that. It's like, it essentially just shows you what you need, right, when you're launching a product. It's like you need a CRM system, you need to have a feedback system so that people can then report if anything goes wrong. Like you need a commercial domain license. Like these are all pretty well obvious, but I'm using the book as a guide just to make sure that I get most of it right. Because right now my brain is all geared towards the product, and I gotta like switch again. Like I said, like what I said in my earlier videos, like I've been in the final months of last year, I focused solely on the business aspects, just learning it, gaining as much information. It's like, and then January, that's when I started working on facilitating this beta testing process, which is pretty much done, to be honest. And now I gotta like switch again to business mode type. So it's a little bit kind of a change, but yeah, sometimes I do feel guilty. Like I do feel guilty whenever I'm not working on the business side, because like I know I'm not doing the right thing here. Like I know it, and yeah. But anyway, it should be fine. This week is supposed to be about marketing. But one of the things I gained this week is essentially finishing the payment stuff, like closing the loop from. I think there's one more that I still need to close the loop, right? So yeah, I'm thinking about more features, and yeah, it's so wrong. But anyway, I've essentially for this week, the best thing I did for this week is experimentation, like trying out different solutions to close the gap between your call assistant and then transferring the call back to your phone. Like that, I don't have that feature yet. How to go from your call assistant who is speaking with a caller, and then how to then transfer that call to your phone number so that you can chat with the caller as a normal phone call. Like how do you do that? Like I don't know yet. So trying out all those designs that I've been working on, and also I think more importantly is finishing the loop for the payment stuff, because that it gives you this peace of mind. Okay, I know I've got a system now that's well working, where they can then buy the number, release the number, and deal with servicing fees, maintenance fees, how to deal with customers that are not paying, how to deal with different things like that. Like, thank God like all of these has now been resolved. I think except for one thing, except for one thing, and I think that's the releasing the phone number. It's like I need to build out, which is essentially just a button, to be honest. Like it's essentially just a system for, like, let's say you don't want to be it's like let's say you want to stop getting charged $2 every month for having the number. You can then, what you can do is like you can then release the number so that it's off from your account. Yeah, that's one of the things that we can do. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's really it for this week. Yeah, don't have anything else. That's it. Thank you. God.